Well, that was an ugly one from the Toronto Raptors as they get their butt wiped by the Orlando Magic at Scotiabank Arena. Now, the Raptors have not done well against Orlando this year. Obviously, the one win that they did have, but it was a nail-biter with the Danny Green buzzer beater. And then you get destroyed at home by 15. Now, as much as it didn't feel that bad, score-wise, only down by 15, but at one point late in the fourth quarter, Raptors were down by 20, and things just were really not looking good in the game. They couldn't shoot the ball consistently, couldn't get stops consistently, and when you need to be your best, the Raptors weren't. First quarter, Raptors can't score anything. They only score 15, and they give up 25. You're minus 10 after the first quarter. Not a good start. By the way, no Kawhi Leonard today, and they say it's because of load management, and I'm like, they just came off a week-and-a-half All-Star break. He played one game. Yeah, I get it was a crazy game, but it was one game. Did you really need to sit him for this game against Orlando? I don't know. But they do. And they lose by 15. Raptors come out in the second quarter, and after scoring 15 in the first, you score 35 and only give up 28. Raptors plus 7 in the second quarter, and only down by 3 at the half. Well, that's better. They're right back in the game. It's a 3-point game going into halftime. They got to come out and play some defense. That's all we were asking for this team to do in the third and fourth quarter. But we have seen what this Raptor team is capable of when they get consistent stops, right? And there's no secret to the NBA. The Raptors are a great team when they get stops, but when they don't, and they're playing against stagnant defense, or I guess ready defense, it's not easy for this Raptor team. And you saw it there in the third and fourth quarter. Raptors gave up 60 in the second half, and they only scored 48. That's not good. Minus 12 in the second half, and you lose by 15. Maybe my math is wrong, but you know, sorry, it was minus 6 on both, minus 12, and you know what, you guys can go crazy with the math. I mean, honestly, because the Raptors lost by 15, and that's really all that matters in the end here. Look, you go into the fourth quarter, you know. And this Raptor team is so good at coming back. We've seen it over and over again. But the Raptors gave up 33 in the fourth quarter. That is not very good. Not good at all. Now, there was a lot of mixing and matching go today. We saw Jody Meeks in the game today. OG Anunoby got the start instead of Kawhi Leonard. You know, and that's a big thing, right? Because what would Kawhi Leonard usually give you? Well, he'd give you at least 20 points, 5 and 5, 5 and 3, or whatever you want to look at it that way. OG, in 24 minutes, only gave you 5 points and 6 rebounds on 2 of 6 shooting, and he was a minus 13 on the floor. You know, you throw Kawhi Leonard into that mix, could be a whole different ball game. But we're not going to talk about the what-ifs, because this is what happened. They didn't play well defensively in the fourth quarter, and they lost. Period. And you know who torched them? Former Toronto Raptor Terrence Ross. He had 28 in the game, 28 points and 9 rebounds on 9 of 21 shooting, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. T. Ross is having a great year over there in Orlando, averaging 14.7 points a game. With the 28 today, that could be going up to 15 a game. Great to see Terrence Ross finally showing some sort of consistency, but he's 28 years old. It took him a while. Raptors were totally fine on moving him because Serge Ibaka has been damn good for the Raptors this year. So, fine by me. But Raptor fans, let's not get angry about this game. You know why? You just won 7 straight coming into it. You lose 1. Oh, well. And it's to Orlando, a non-playoff team. Oh, actually, they're actually climbing back into a playoff spot. Where are they? They're 9th, and they're only a game and a half out. So, there you guys go. Do you want to face them in round 1? And we could arguably say, oh, they're sitting Kawhi Leonard because they don't want to catch the Bucks and they don't want to face Philly and Boston in the second round. We could sit here and talk about that garbage all day. But in the end, the regular season doesn't really matter at this point. The Raptors are going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in the top 5, top 4, whatever you want to look at it. They're probably going to be top 2. So, you know, resting Kawhi Leonard, I get why they're doing it, but it's weird why they're picking a situation like this. And the next game for the Raptors, maybe he's trying to rest towards this game. The Raptors take on the Boston Celtics at Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock tip-off there. That's a big one because all we've been hearing from Celtic fans are when the Raptors are in Boston, the Raptors can't beat Boston, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And the one time Boston came to Toronto, the Raptors slapped them, and the Celtics have not been playing good basketball over the last few games. They've lost now 2 straight. They just lost to the Chicago Bulls in their last one. And the Raptors are at home there on Tuesday night. It's going to be one heck of a matchup there. But going back to the Orlando and Raptor game, look, as much as it wasn't a pretty performance offensively and defensively, it was the late game shambles that really killed the team. You did see some all right performances. You look, Marc Gasol got his first start as a Toronto Raptor. Great to see. 16 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. On 7 of 13 shooting, he made 1 3, took 1 3, and yeah, he was a -7 on the floor, but he didn't cause you I think, did he have any turnovers? One turnover in his 24 minutes. I thought he was pretty good. Lowry gives you a double-double, 19 points, 10 boards on 6 of 13 shooting. Ibaka gave you 14 points, 5 boards on 7 of 14 shooting, and only 24 minutes off the bench. Ibaka had a great game, and that shows you, today's game kind of really shows you that Ibaka can play in any minutes. When he starts, he gives you a great game. When he came off the bench, he gave the Raptors 14 today. But a couple guys that I was not impressed with. Jeremy Lin was awful in the fourth quarter. Terrible. Got a couple turnovers in the fourth quarter. Missed most of his shots. Yeah, he was 2 of 8 shooting. I think he was like 0 of 5 to start. So, especially in the fourth quarter, you don't want to be missing those types of shots. And Norm Powell didn't get a single point in 15 minutes on 0 of 3 shooting. Again, you know, Norm, I understand how he is defensively and how he's all up in people's faces and how he's great there. But you want to see some offense from Norman Powell. He didn't really give you anything today. Patrick McCaw did a pretty good job, though. In 15 minutes, 8 points, a couple boards on 3 of 5 shooting. I thought he was pretty good. And the man, Jody Meeks, his first game as a Toronto Raptor, in 17 minutes, he gives you 10 points, but at 1 point in the game, he had only 8 minutes and had 10 points and knocked down a couple threes. I mean, he was feeling it early on. 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He was a +7 while he was out there on the floor. Great to see a newest Raptor get into the mix and to perform well. Now, I don't worry about this game because Pascal Siakam didn't have a great game. He only had 10 points, 11 boards on 3 of 10 shooting. Yeah, he was 2 of 4 from 3, and he had a couple blocks. But again, we're so used to Pascal getting 15 or higher and shooting a good percentage. I mean, what's his shooting percentage this year? It's 55%, right? We're so used to seeing him play up to his competition. But he only shot 3 of 10 today. So we're not used to seeing that. Plus, you didn't have Kawhi Leonard. So fine. I'm not worried about this game the way it is. Now, if there's any stats you guys like to look at as problem stats, like, ooh, that is something you don't want to see. Points off of turnovers was a big number that I looked at. Raptors had 13 turnovers to their 12. It's not usually, that's not a big difference. But they had 20 points off of our turnovers. We had 10 off of their 12. 10-point gap. That is a huge difference, guys. And taking care of the basketball is a huge thing when it comes to playoff time. You don't want to give a team like Boston, Indiana, Philly, you could say Golden State even, extra possessions, especially careless turnovers, right? You don't want to see that kind of stuff. And speaking of extra chances, the Orlando Magic had 12 offensive rebounds to the Raptors 6. So you go down to second chance points, 14-12 in favor of the Orlando Magic. So the Raptors didn't do a bad job when we got second chances, but you still give it 14 points. Look, guys, the simple things in basketball, I mean, it's simple to a certain extent, but rebounding and taking care of the ball. 2 things that not a lot of people talk about. People just take shots and defense, right? They're the general things that people say. But when you look at offensive rebounds and turnovers, and then points off of turnovers. Look, the Raptors were -12 in those 2 categories. How much did you lose by? 15. Now, I'm not saying if they were totally flipped, you're right in the game. You take care of the ball, you get a few more stops, bang, you're right back into it. But the inability to, right, we talk about the inability to close the game and the inability to start. And that was it. All right, we're not going to dwell on this game. We're here to talk about the next one as the Raptors take on the Boston Celtics at home. And then they take on Portland at home before they hit the road to take on Detroit. So the 2 more games left of the homestand, guys. 2 very good teams. The backcourt of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in Portland, and Boston just being the Boston Celtics that they are. It's going to be a doozy of a game there on Tuesday night. So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed the video, and you guys did not enjoy the game today. Smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below what you think of the game. What were your thoughts towards the game? Where do you think the Raptors lost the game? If you have any specific details about why this game wasn't so good, let me know in the comments below, guys. Go crazy down below. That's the fun stuff. I love reading every single comment. I do read every single comment, by the way. Links are in the description, guys, for the podcast channel and the podcast itself on iTunes. Evan and I will be doing the next podcast sometime this week coming up. We haven't set a date as of yet, but I will let you guys know that. Links are in the description, like I said, for the podcast channel and for the podcast on iTunes. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff, and I will talk to you guys Leafs edition as they take on the Buffalo Sabres at Scotiabank Arena tomorrow night. 7 o'clock puck drop as the Buds look for their second straight victory and look to build on that great comeback against Montreal on Saturday night. 7 o'clock, like I said, at Scotiabank Arena. Linus Ullmark, Frederik Andersen are the expected starters in that game tomorrow night. And as for the Raptors, guys, like we've been saying, they take on the Boston Celtics at Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday night. 8 o'clock tip-off. It is going to be one heck of a game, and for the Raptors, you want to get back into the win column and beat a Boston team. Because in Toronto, we don't do that quite often, so it'll be nice to see, especially at home. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talk to you guys then.